If you are a VR user, you have a lot of good choices for shooters that you can play. Pavlov, Contractors, Onward are to name a few, and then of course you have VAIL. With its esports integration and its advanced gun mechanics, it was set up to be the passion project that advances the FPS category of VR. It has a futuristic feel that sets it apart from the perceived kings of the genre being Pavlov and Contractors. By placing the three side by side and using similar weapons in each game, we can see the differences that yes, they are small, but they put VAIL just ahead of the other two.
So in VAIL, the magazines then have their own gravity. I've never noticed this before. Where in VAIL the magazines behave with gravity, in Contractors they just do this. They just shoot out at the end. Yeah, that's very weird. Pew! I'm not expecting loads in Pavlov, in the way of Pavlov, because obviously I know it is the legacy VR shooter. Oh yeah, this does it as well.
I know those are small things, they don't take away from the other games by any means, but if you are fond of that kind of thing and the environment interaction that you can see in VAIL, then you can see why one is ahead of the other.
I still wonder if this game has any Easter eggs. I mean, I can't see any subliminal messaging or anything, so I don't know what that could be.
On paper, the recipe screams success, but what actually happened? Going back to the intro, if you are a VR user, the keyword there is if. Only around 2% of Steam users use VR, and even then they may only use the headset once or twice a week, and not only this, for the sake of the context, that stat would rely on every Steam VR user playing only shooters, which of course can't be the case. Even then, there are plenty of players filling lobbies in the shooters I showed off earlier, yet VAIL, there have been empty servers and only a few matches that I've played aside from just hanging around in the shooting range. The player base lacks, and you can see that through Steam and how not even 6 months later, on my first launch of VAIL, only 2 other players were actually online.
That's awkward. Handshake? No? This is really bizarre. God, they're just staring into my soul.
The few games I have played though, I can honestly say I've enjoyed. The gunplay and the tight yet dynamic environments are really cool. The one thing I will say about the maps though is that the spawns can be quite predictable. Like in other shooters, both in and outside of VR, it takes advantage of empty space, spawning players wherever the enemy isn't. Meaning in some maps you can essentially walk up and down the same corridor between 2 spawn points for the whole match, and not really go anywhere, which I know is an issue in a lot of FPS games, so I won't hold it against VAIL because I know there are other games that do this too.
Oh. Cheeky. Damn, am I actually good at this? No. No, I'm not. Hello.
It's a shame to see it fall off like this, especially when it proposes as much potential as it does. In my opinion, part of its downfall may have been with its attempt to get into the esports market straight away. Games like Pavlov and Onward have done this successfully, and the difference between them is that they also appeal to the casual player. Going back to that 2% statistic, it may only be 5 or 10% of that group that are interested purely in esports, which in the spectrum of VR will not have nearly as big of an audience or market as desktop shooters have alone, ignoring the esports outside of FPS games. I think a lot of that casual play doesn't yet exist or hasn't been put forward as much.
Is it just me online, really? Is there nobody else? It's just me chilling in the gun range. Oh, that's really sad. I can't believe it's just me who's playing on this game right now. On a Saturday. Surely you'd think there'd be other people, but I guess not.
Thinking about it, I believe the more accurate statement isn't that it died. I think VAIL VR has jumped the gun, or it's ahead of its time, whichever works. I say this because VR is still in its early stages. Although the technology is good, its genesis remains very recent and its presence as a new technology is still being discovered. Many people are weary of it. Its pricing and its limitations lead many to question its worth, but you ask anyone who has a headset, they will likely say it is worth it.
It's a massive shame that nobody's on this either, because with mechanics this good, like the gunplay's really good, but you just have nobody to play with as such. I do wonder if they plan to add more game modes, because right now you've just got TDM in the same small group of maps. At least I think it's just TDM anyway. You've got TDM in the same group of maps. But if you had, I don't mean to use COD as a comparison, ground war and gun game, I don't know how they would work in VR, probably same thing. But you keep more players, just keeps it interesting. But like I said, I'm no game dev.
I also say this because within its right, it is one of the best shooters on VR and it continues to improve. Their upcoming update is one of their biggest and it hopes to implement more of the Unreal Engine and will hopefully bring back the players it's lost due to gameplay and optimization issues, of which there were many when the game fully released out of its alpha state last year. The future is exciting though. Its new guns, including shotguns and snipers, are also due to release, and VAIL's weapon mechanics puts hope towards some really cool stuff. This also includes time to kill updates and a proper in-game aim trainer, which does kind of add to the esports stuff, but again it's something that not many VR games have, if any at all. Their current aim trainer is already cool, so I look forward to what the refreshed one actually is.
Hurt me. Damn. I didn't know you could get a masochistic robot. Oh, that's cool. Oh, and I'm not apparently. Try not to kink shame the robot here. As much as I would love to speed that up in the edit, probably not the best idea. No, I gotta stop doing that. Oh my god, for a game that is based on esports, I am shit at this.
Despite all of this, this is just one man's humble opinion. I am no critic, nor a reviewer, nor a businessman. Originally, this video was going to show off what is good about VAIL and hopefully reach more people and hopefully inspire people to pick it up again. That is of course why I made this channel, to show off games that I love.
I gotta say, one of my favourite things is the simple weapon interaction. I say simple, but just the spinning guns, yes, it's normal in most games. But the way you can like flick the mag out, I know it's not a very good example there. Let me try that again. You can flick the mag out like that. It is like, especially with this weapon here, it's a very like John Wick-esque feeling. Or it would be if I could hit more of my shots. But I can't, so there we go.
If you think I've been talking bollocks this whole video, then that's fine as well. I want to see this game succeed, especially something that is such a good idea, so the changing of ideas for the video may give reason to why it was a bit choppy. So thank you for bearing with that, and thank you for watching as well, as we've now come to the end. A like and a subscribe are never needed but always appreciated. I hope both sides of your pillow are cool tonight, not just the one, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.